Hello, David.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Well, very well, and it's very nice to see you, and you're looking very well as well. So whereabouts in the world do we find you today?
I'm in a sort of village down an hour south of London, not too far from Horsham. I'm in a barn.
Now, is that the barn?
That's the barn, the famous barn. This is where I actually am sitting. This is one of the sets things that we used for various things.
We've seen it in various videos. Actually, we can hear it on the new album as well, which we will come to in a short while. I mean, the tour sold out in minutes. The reviews for the album are very good. You must be very pleased with the reaction so far.
Yeah, what can I say? People have been very kind to it with album reviews and so on, and I'm staggered by lovely people who've gone out and bought tickets to see the show.
What made you start up the machine? Because there was a kind of 9-year gap, wasn't there? And as I said, you had a big guitar sale in the meantime. What made you sort of bring everything back going? Because it must be quite a job getting this whole tour business up and running, a new album.
Well, I think it takes time, 9 years, to forget how much work it is. I mean, the album has been slowly accelerating like a snowball down a mountain over the past few years, and sort of really kicked into gear a couple of years ago. We've been writing and recording it and getting new people on board and getting it finished, basically. That has been such a joy with the people I've been working with, which includes my lovely wife, Polly, and some of my children have helped out, and a lovely producer called Charlie Andrew, who came on board, it must have been about a year ago, helped push and bully me into getting it finished. And I couldn't be more pleased with the way that has all panned out. And, the whole sort of rule book of what I have lived, that you impose on yourself, even subconsciously, I think we managed to pretty much throw out the window this time. And just what I wanted to do, and it suits me very, very well.
Well, that's great to hear, and it's turned out into an exceptionally great album. It's a really good album. It sounds lovely. It's got some extraordinary moments on there, and as you say, some of them are very unexpected, which I guess is what you mean by throwing the rule book away. Well, let's do the band first, because you did some legendary people in there, as well as ex-Planet Rock presenter Guy Pratt, one of our favourites, David, I have to say, but also Steve Gadd.
You come across people over the years, and some of them you sort of log down in your mental notebook for the thought of maybe doing something with them, trying out with them at some point in the future. Guy, of course, has been with me now since, 86 or something? No, close enough to 40 years. Seems like a lifetime. Well,
he was just a boy at the time.
Steve Gadd has always been one of probably about my favourite drummer, apart from people like Jeff Porcaro years ago. And I met him a couple of times before, but I've never worked with him. Polly says to me all the time, well, what do you want to do? Who do you want to work with? Who's your favourite drummer? And I said, I'd love to get Steve Gadd, but I'm a bit nervous, really, of calling him. He said, just do it. So I just did it, and God, he's good.
Yeah, he is.
Sensitivity to what we are doing. He's thinking about it, and his approach is just beautiful. And he sits there and he taps these things, and you're thinking, it's very light. Then you hear it on the speakers and it sounds like somehow he makes a sound that belies the effort of what the sticks are doing onto the skins.
Yeah, he's got magic touch. But then, as have all the musicians on the album, and your new producer Charlie Andrew. Now, this was a departure for you, as you say. But and from what I've read, someone who wasn't particularly a huge Floyd fan, so therefore wasn't in awe of you.
We listened, to a lot of music that he had produced. As you say, he wasn't a Pink Floyd fan. He doesn't know me or Pink Floyd, but he came down to my house here and we played through some tracks, and he really liked the stuff that I'd got, and he said he'd love to work on it.
Right.
I mean, one of the songs took me a couple of days to get used to the whole idea of the way he was pushing it. But hey, now I couldn't love it more.
Excellent. Well, listen, it's great to hear. And as I said, it's a terrific album. I'd like to talk through the tracks if we can, because they are, each of them has a sparkle of its own. Opens up with Black Cat, which is a short instrumental scene setter. Unmistakably You. I know that people listening will want to know, as mentioned before, you did sell a number of guitars. What guitar do you play these days? What was getting that lovely noise?
That one is another Black Strat. I sold my Legend Black Strat, but now I have this Black Strat.
Oh, okay. With the Black Cat on?
With a Black Cat Strat, we call it. And it's very nice.
What's the significance of the Black Cat? Even down Zoom, it sounds lovely.
I sold those guitars because I thought there was some good that could be done with the money. I'm very, very pleased about what we did with that money going to Client Earth, who set legal actions into train all over the world, are ignoring the global warming and the destruction of our planet. So I'm very, very happy to do that. But I mean, to me, ultimately, they are tools of the trade. They can be replaced, Got a lovely Black Strat now. It's not that one, but I'm not that much of a sentimentalist about these things. But I have kept some guitars. The guitar on the next track that you're about to talk about, this Strat was on the first one, was recorded in this room that I'm speaking to you from.
Oh, okay.
With Rick Wright and everyone of my touring band in 2007. And that I played on a Black Gretsch guitar, which a 50s Black Gretsch that I bought in the early 70s, I think. But that one I didn't sell. I did have a bit too much of a fondness for that one. And one or two others, a 1945 Martin D18.
Oh, is that what we hear on this album as well, on the acoustic sections?
Yeah, that's on some of the acoustic things, yeah.
Luck and Strange is the track you're talking about, which is... it's magical because, as you say, Rick Wright's on it, and there's two versions on the album for those who want to listen to it. There's a finished version, and then there's the jam version from 2007 you were talking about.
Yeah.
Now, if Black Cat is instantly David Gilmour, first of all, Luck and Strange is instantly Rick Wright, isn't it? I mean, you can just hear it. It's just lovely.
Unmistakable.
Is it a complex job to build a track around a performance when you don't have options to change that performance?
Well, basically, it needed other parts. So the bits that are the jam, that are the main part, are the verses, and they're as they were pretty much. I mean, there's very little change. I mean, if you hear the original jam, you'll hear that. But then you need some bridge sections and some chorus sections, and so I copied a bit of the original drums, recreated, wrote and made these things, tried to make them fit in with what was going. The only thing that remains, I suppose you could say, obviously, on those is the drums, which I used again, and added bass, guitars, keyboards, all those other elements to tie it all together. I think we did a good job, actually.
You did, do a good job. And as you say, when you listen to the jam, it's unmistakably that, but it's just, it's a rounded version, a completed version, which sounds marvellous.
It's fascinating. I didn't think it was a good idea to put the jam version on originally, but then I listened to them both and I thought, well, there's an education in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lovely thing to listen to. It really is. Polly, you've been co-writing with your wife, Polly. I think it's for 30 years now. I think High Hopes was one of the first things that you worked on together.
That's right.
Back for Division Bell. She's a fantastic lyricist. She's written all the lyrics, as far as I can see, on the album, apart from one track. Yeah. Do the words come first, or does the music come first, or is it a mixture of the two?
It's the music comes first with us and with me mostly. I mean, there are one or two songs in the past. Sorrow from the Momentary Lapse of Reason album. I wrote the words as 5 sort of verses before I wrote the music to it. But pretty much it's the music first, and Polly will be listening to all these pieces of music, and Polly might say, "Oh, well, that one's nice. Let's have a look at that." And she'll have it on her phone going through headphones and will walk around for a day or two, considering what the music is trying to communicate. And she's a absolute master of working out what I don't know at all about the music that I'm writing.
No, it comes across, and lyrically, as I say, this feels like an album that you have to have lived a bit to have written. It's very reflective, isn't it? Lyrically, it's very it's looking back, and at the same time, it has a very positive feel about it as well. I want to talk about the track. The next track on this is "The Piper's Call." Now, we got this as our first single earlier this year. A lot of the album is about, as I say, this reflective process of growing older. Now, it's before your time, I know, but am I reading too much into this, or is there a Piper at the Gates of Dawn reference in that, or is it more about Piper pays the call?
It's not. No, I wouldn't say that it had anything to do with. No, it's not a reference to the Piper at the Gates of Dawn. More a Pied Piper of Howlin's type thing. It's the temptations of the lifestyle that someone like me might have lived, and looking at how dangerous that can be, and therefore, I suppose, recommending that you look to the importance of real things in this life.
I'm interested in this sort of pushing thing that you talk about, where you're actually encouraging a producer to push you to a place that you didn't know you wanted to be. I would have thought at the time, the place you are in your career, that you would be comfortable to do. It's quite refreshing to hear that actually you want to be taken in new directions.
When you start off and you're young and you're in a band, you start. It's a bit like being in a family. Everyone is brutally honest, with each other, and they say, let's try a different approach. And so these are the sort of things that Charlie Andrew has helped to re-engender, of getting back to a more honest situation. And with that comes moments of discomfort where you're thinking, but you achieve something in the end that you're really proud of. Compromises are made all the way through on everything, and I'm a great believer in compromise.
Talked about Life, the Universe and everything, and the next track is Vita Brevis. There's a number of things which are starting to happen on the album now. First of all, we're introducing some of your family. So Romney, your daughter, is playing harp here, and also this short piece leads into one of the most extraordinary pieces of music on the album, which is a cover version. It's called Between 2 Points. First of all, it's an extraordinary song. How did you discover it?
To be honest, I think someone who was in the record business years and years and years ago in the 90s sent me and Polly, in fact, a track list that we could put onto our music on our computer and listen to, of his favorite songs. I think that's where it came from. And we've been listening to it and loving it ever since. And when it came on, 6 months ago, whenever it was, Polly suggested that she said, why wouldn't you do a cover? And I was going, well, because I don't really do covers very much. But then, of course, I did do a cover that was very popular on my 1978, my first solo album. So, yeah, it came along. I did a backing track for it, rough. You can knock up a backing track that gives you the idea of where you want to go in a few hours if you work hard at it. And I'd done one that sounded pretty good, but it just didn't suit me, my personality, my strength, it seemed to be something for a much more vulnerable person, is what is in the lyrics. And so Polly then said, let's get Romney to give it a try. So Romney was very diffident, and she had a train to catch and an essay to write, and rather grumpy. And I just said, and she must have heard the track a few times as we played it and with her in the room, but she didn't really know it at all. And eventually I just said, here's a piece of paper, sing it. And she just sang it. And 90% of the vocal on the record is that first try.
And she gets that vulnerability, as you say, absolutely right. And when you now say that she was angry and late and didn't really want to do it, it's like, goodness me, that's a talent. Yeah, no, it's extraordinary. I'm still amazed every time I listen to it. You must be very proud, actually, because that's it's a really marvellous piece of music.
there's nepotism and nepotism, but, there's just talent that can't be ignored as well. So
yeah, that's right. And speaking of voices, I mean, I think the whole album, because your voice is great as well, it doesn't sound like your voice has actually aged, really. I'm not being overly stupidly flattering. It just doesn't. You sound like you.
Yeah, I very much like the way my voice sounds. And again, Charlie Andrew pushed me. We did, I had watched what he did with Steve Gadd and some of the other guys in the studio, where he pushed them, and he'd take again another take and this, and then try this. He was the same with me, just as brutal. We did lots of takes of some of these things, and we were just refining how we wanted it to be, and it takes a while. But to get these things to the point where you really feel you couldn't really squeeze anything more out of yourself.
Yeah.
Not worth bothering with if that's not what you do.
We move on to another track here. Very personal track, Dark and Velvet Nights. This has had, I got details actually of the little story that how this came about. This is a poem that Polly wrote you, which has been set to music.
This track came out of somewhere, out of nowhere, this backing track, this groove, really, more, and which I was loving, and I again knocked out a quick backing track for it, and that was sounding really quite good, and was about to say, to go over and grab Polly and say, "Hey, listen to this. What do you think?" And I noticed this poem that she had written for me very kindly. I just read it, and a lot of the lines seemed to fit scansion-wise. So I just sang what I could of it onto this thing. It's one of those incredible serendipitous moments that just feels like the right thing. And I played the whole thing to Polly, and she said, "Yeah, I'll work on it."
You mentioned warmth on this track, but actually the whole album, and I think the family connection probably has a big part to play in that. It feels like a warm album. It's a welcoming album.
I hope it is, yes. It has, for me, we're not trying to do anything as pretentious as a concept album, but this has the feel of a body of work that is consistent and all ties in with everything else in lyrical and musical ways and a sound way all the way through. And that's what I'm very proud of on this album.
Was the sequencing hard of the tracks? Because I'm guessing you don't build this in order, do you? You have to put it together afterwards. You put it.
A lot of it was quite obvious. I knew which track we wanted to end with, and I knew one or two other things. But the others, you just fiddle and try out different orders. But I don't think we'd fiddle very much. Polly was quite vocal, as usual, in giving her views.
One has to listen to one's wife, David.
I wouldn't dream of doing so.
Now, I'm not allowed to have favourites because I'm an impartial interviewer, but Scattered is, at the moment, I absolutely adore this track. I love it so much. I can hear references in there to early music from, again, I might be reading too much into this, but it's sort of got the Dark Side Heartbeat. There's echoes in there, the piano, and there's various other bits in the lyrics too. Amazing, amazing solo. Tell me about this track, because it is a stunner.
Well, it's a piece of music that I wrote, and I did write a set of lyrics to it, but we came to the conclusion that my lyrics were moving in more directions than one, and I got very stuck on it. And Polly suggested that I ask my son Charlie to have a go at it, and he duly had a good go at it, and some of it, quite a bit of it is his, quite a bit of it is mine as well, and Polly also added some of her brilliant moments to it, trying to tear it all apart and analyze it too carefully, a waste of time. Yeah. Somehow the three disparate people created a lyric that fits what's going on there so beautifully. It seemed to me like it had to be the last track on the album.
The live shows later this year, as mentioned before, the excellent Guy Pratt is on the team, but some new faces as well. Putting a band together, how did you go about that?
Well, some of the guys who'd been on the album, they were newer to me. They seemed Very, very good. Brilliant people. They're very, very nice people. I've thought we could really get on. So I've used Adam Betts, who played drums on a Single Spark guy, obviously. We've got Greg Fillinganes back, who did the last half of my last tour. But we've got a lovely keyboard guy called Rob Gentry, who's all over the album and is so inventive and interesting in everything he does. Well, we have Romney coming on some of the tour. I'm not quite sure how much she can do because she has to get back to university.
She sounds like she's quite busy and sometimes grumpy if she's too busy as well. So you have to watch that.
Yeah, you do. But I've also got the Webb sisters, Charlie and Hattie Webb, who sang with Leonard Cohen on his last 2 or 3 tours. And we've got Louise Marshall, who sang with me and has been singing with me for a long time as well. It only took sort of one meeting with them for me to know, yeah, these are sort of my sort of people and this will work out great. We haven't all played together yet.
Okay.
And that's still to come.
You better get round to that. There's a tour coming up, isn't there?
The good Lord will sort that out in due course.
It's a terrific album, and it's so good of you to come on Planet Rock and talk us through it. Thank you, David. I really appreciate it, and all success with the tour.
Thank you very much.